Democrats and Republicans have their eyes set on the 2026 elections, with Republicans trying to maintain power in Washington, while Democrats are trying to gain any power they possibly can. And the Democrat prospects are starting to look a lot better. This is all due to the fact that Elon Musk, former special advisor to President Trump, announced that he will be forming a third party to run candidates in the 2026 Senate and House elections. Elon Musk is claiming that he will target roughly a dozen House races in 2026 and 2 to 3 Senate races in 2026. Now, this all comes in response or on the heels of Republicans passing President Donald Trump's legislative agenda that has been coined the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. And if Elon Musk chooses to fully embrace this, it will do nothing except hand more power to the Democrat Party in Congress, which, as a sane person, that is the last thing that anybody wants to happen in DC right now. It truly is. Now, this is a very big shift from where Musk was even 6 months ago. Elon Musk, who at one time had donated over almost $250 million to Donald Trump to re-elect him as president in 2024. Musk has shifted from being a self-described moderate to a vocal supporter of conservative causes. In 2024, he endorsed Donald Trump, spending $250 million on Republican campaigns and roughly $239 million through his America PAC, his political action committee. He also owns the social media company X, which has amplified his reach with roughly 200 million followers to expose his political views to. And Elon Musk's posts on X are often critical of progressive policies, and he's gained billions and billions of views shaping public policy and moving away from the Democrat Party to back in more conservative GOP candidates in the 2022 and 2024 cycle. And this evolution signals that Musk's intent is to influence the 2026 elections through funding and messaging. But if he does not support progressive causes, why is he so keen on splitting the conservative vote and handing Democrats victories? That is the big thing here. He claims to be a proponent of conservative priorities. But then his tactics will do nothing but hurt Democrats or Republicans. And I think you can make the case right now that Elon Musk is just kind of, he's blowing smoke right now. He's just saying whatever he can. He's got a history of just saying anything he can to get attention right now. And this is what he's saying. Maybe this doesn't turn into anything. Maybe the America Party doesn't turn into a party at all. Maybe it is just Elon Musk blowing off some steam and it'll be nothing in the midterms. But there is also a reality that he is the richest man on the planet. The guy has $300 to $400 billion. He could throw $1 billion behind a political campaign, throw money in competitive races. If we're looking at the competitive races in 2026, you're going to California, you're going up in Washington, in Wisconsin, Iowa's 1st congressional district, Maine's 2nd. There is a lot of competitive races. There's a lot of competitive races that he could put a couple $1 million into and could even be able to siphon off 2, 3, 4% of the vote from the electorate. Where are Republicans most vulnerable to lose seats? I would say Iowa Congressional District 1. If Musk ran someone, and this is just hypothetical, in the 2024 Congressional District, in Iowa's 1st Congressional District, and he was able to siphon off even 1,000 or 2,000 votes from the Republican Party, all of a sudden this is a Democrat seat. If you look here, and we see that Elon Musk is able to shift the electorate to the Democrats. Even if they're able to siphon off only, let's say, 2 or 3 percentage points from the Republican Party, Democrats get a 2 or 3 point advantage. Let's say this is a 3-point advantage right here. Even if Elon Musk's party siphons off 3% of voters from the Republican Party, the electorate shifts towards the Democrats by 3 percentage points. Look at this. Democrats now have a 224 seats in the House. They're flipping in Nebraska's 1st congressional district, or 2nd. I forget which one that is. Don Bacon's seat right here. Iowa's 1st congressional district here. Alaska flips. There's a lot of seats that flip here that is not good. This is not good if that were to happen. But so why is it that Elon Musk is so keen on hurting the Republican Party right now? Or at least in what he's vocalizing he is. He says he supports conservative causes, and I believe him on some of them that he does support conservative causes. But how is it then that your tactic to support those conservative causes is to run a conservative candidate in this race under the America Party guise and siphon votes away from conservative lean-in candidates? Like, how is that? And then he's even talked about forming a national party for 2028. It's like we all know that third parties historically struggle in the U.S. system. We live in a two-party system. And even if he's not winning outright states or outright seats, the wealth that Elon Musk's have could fund campaigns. I think it's very tough to see that he could actually build out serious infrastructure, grassroots infrastructure from the ground up by 2026. I think that's a tall order. I think that's very unlikely that it'll happen. But I think that even if Musk just throws a couple $1 million at some races, going to Michigan, maybe does he go after, this is John James' seat. He's running for governor right now. Whoever runs here, is he going to go after Tom Barrett? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Is he going to go after Ryan McKenzie, or Brian Fitzpatrick? Like. Who? And that's the thing. We don't know. When Republicans are trying to flip seats, Republicans need to flip seats. Republicans need to flip places like Maine's 1st congressional district. That's a big one that needs to be flipped. In California, there's a couple seats down here that need to be flipped. 23 and 45, these are seats Republicans need to flip if they want to win. They need to. Going to Colorado, there's some really, really competitive seats here in Colorado. Look at Colorado's 8th congressional district with Gabe Evans or Will Hurd in the 3rd. Now, we know that Elon Musk's priorities are a push for deregulation, reduce government spending, which aligns much more with people who are center-right and further to the right than people who are center-left and to the left. Like, that's just a reality. And now that we can see the Senate race, the House races are really starting to shape up for 2026. It just makes it that much more vulnerable. We're seeing how things are shaping up. Now you insert a America candidate in, let's say, North Carolina. You already have Roy Cooper running in North Carolina. Maybe Laura Trump gets the nomination for the Republican Party. Okay, what, are we going to try and siphon off 5-10% of the votes that are going to vote for Laura Trump in an electorate that is already going to be more favorable to Democrats? Like, come on. Pull your head out of your ass. But maybe that's his plan. I don't know. Look, I thought Elon Musk, he had some good ideas, but do I think that he's somehow the leader of this party or he's a thought leader? I don't think I would say so. He's done a lot of good things. He's also probably done a lot of bad things. I don't know that much about him outside of Twitter or Tesla or SpaceX or donated to Republican candidates in 2024. But look at this map here. If this map shifts to the Democrat Party by 5-10 percentage points, we know in 2018, the national popular vote in 2018, the midterm, was almost a 9-point advantage for the Democrat Party. Okay, if we look right here and we do, this would make it a 9-point advantage for the Democrat Party. This is what the map will look like. 237 for the Democrat Party. Democrats are flipping Congressional District 8 and Congressional District 3. They're flipping Iowa, Congressional District 1, Wisconsin, Congressional District 3. They're flipping a bunch of seats in Pennsylvania. Oops, we didn't mean to do that. They're flipping Ryan McKenzie's seat. They're flipping, maybe somehow they hold on to Ryan Fitzpatrick's seat. But they're losing a lot that they really shouldn't lose. They're going to lose in seats that Donald Trump won by 9 points, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous why we are going to spend money, why someone is going to spend money who has conservative values to unseat conservatives. And this will completely change the 2026 elections. Instantly, you're looking at a Senate map. Oh my gosh, instantly. If Musk runs a candidate in Michigan, North Carolina, and Georgia, These instantly become lean Democrat seats. He runs someone in Maine. You know what? I would say this is going to be a tilt Republican. I think it definitely moves that direction. If you run someone in Minnesota, instantly a likely Republican seat. He runs someone in Iowa, maybe against Pete Ricketts in Nebraska, instantly becomes toss-up races. You can see how easily Elon Musk can shake this race up here. How easily it is for him to do that. But you're not going to get anything that he wants. Democrats are going to push higher taxes. Democrats are going to push for higher spending. Yes, Elon Musk has issues with the one big beautiful bill, but guess what? Democrats would not only do that, but they would double down on it, and they would do it in the dumbest ways possible. They would expand social safety nets. They wouldn't do it to create innovation, to induce businesses to spend money on research and development, to be the innovative capital of the world. He wouldn't do that. No, they would do it to give handouts to illegal immigrants, minorities, the poor. Look, we should have social safety nets that are there to help the poor. But Medicaid should not be providing health benefits for a 26-year-old who wants to sit around, play video games all day, smoke weed, and just chill, who doesn't have a job. Go work 20 hours a week. You know, Democrats are crying, 80 hours a month, these stringent. 20 hours a week? If you don't have a medical disability and you just don't want to work and you can't work 20 hours a week, I hate to tell you this, but you're just a fucking loser. Like there's no other way to put it. If you don't have some sort of health issue, some disability, some issue that prevents you from doing that, if you have one of those, you deserve Medicaid. That's what Medicaid is for. If you're pregnant, if you have a young child, if you have multiple young children, if you're a single mother, you deserve Medicaid benefits. But if you're 26 years old, 27, in your 20s, in your 30s, you don't want to work, you're choosing not to work because you have anxiety. I have anxiety. No. You're just a fucking loser, and you should get your ass to work, and you should lose your Medicaid benefits. You should have to work a minimum 20 hours a week. Like, give me a break. It should be 40 hours. It should be 30 hours at a minimum a week. I'm sorry. That's just where I'm at. And the fact that Musk is going to be so critical of this bill. Look, I don't love everything in this bill, but I like a lot of things in this bill. Because what was the alternative? You either passed the one big beautiful bill, or you allowed the largest peacetime tax increase in American history to occur in 2026. Those are your options. You know, we don't live in a fantasy land where we can just be solely purist when it comes to policy. We live in a world where you have to be pragmatic. You have to understand that exactly what you want is not exactly what you're going to get. And if you want to get 70% of the things that you want, you're going to have to deal with 30% of the things that you don't want. And unfortunately, that's kicking the can down the road, but that's just the way the world works. I'm not going to sit here and scream at the sky because of that or say we need to run or start a third party. No, we need to focus on winning more seats. How can we win more seats? How can we win in seats that we should have won in 2024? How can we win in Maine's 2nd Congressional District? How can we win back in New York's 3rd and 4th Congressional District? How can we win in the 19th and 22nd Congressional District in New York? How can we win in New Mexico's 2nd Congressional District? How can we win down in Texas' 34th Congressional District or California's 13th, 27th, or 45th Congressional District? How? That's what we should be focusing on. If you don't want to have to kick the can down the road on 30% of these issues, win more seats in the election. Appeal to a broader group of voters. Appeal to a broader electorate of voters. Like that what is so hard about that? And not that it's easy to do that, but that's like the concept. We have a 220 to 215 majority in the House right now. We're not going to get everything we want. If we had a Republican wave, and the margin shifted 10 points to the Republican Party, we have a 266 majority to 169. We're passing 90% of things that we want in the one big beautiful bill. If you're looking at the Senate level, and it shifts 10 points to the right. All of a sudden, you almost have a majority. You have a majority. outright majority, like 60% almost. You almost have 60 votes in the Senate. That's the reality here. If Republicans want everything, you need to elect more senators. You need to elect more representatives. That's just what you need to do. But like we said, this feud with Elon Musk will alienate the base. It's going to reduce Republican ability to compete in the 2026 elections. Now, do I think that Elon Musk could completely change the 2026 elections? Absolutely. Do I think he will actually follow through? I don't know. I don't have enough information as of right now to say, yes, he's going to follow through. I just don't know. I don't know if he's going to follow through. I don't know how serious he is about this. Is he just blowing off smoke, blowing off steam? Or is he dead serious about this? That's the big question that we have now. But this is exactly how Elon Musk could change the 2026 Senate elections, the 2026 House elections. It is a massive liability for the Republican Party if this is what Elon Musk decides to do. But folks, that is going to wrap things up for today. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think Elon Musk will actually completely change and shake up the 2026 elections by running America Party candidates in 2026? Let me know down below. Or is he just blowing off steam? I would love to hear your thoughts on how this will affect the 2026 Senate elections. As always, drop down below, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. That's the best way to support our channel. Our unfiltered commentary, that's the best way to make sure we reach more and more people and we can get in front of you and get information and the factual information to you as soon as possible. But as always, folks, don't forget, drop down below, hit that like button, make sure you never miss another video from us again in the future. And folks, we will catch you next time.